Am I actually live?
It says live, but then how do you chat?
I'm not sure. Let me hit
So
back
if you
over.
go back,
Let's go back over to YouTube.
you are live.
Can people actually see me? Am I being seen by anyone at all? Guys, if I'm being seen, can somebody say something? This wasn't where everybody was chatting with though. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Hey, can you hear me, Mika?
It says you're on.
You guys can actually hear me?
It looks like there's a huge lag though, because I just moved.
I think the lag is really bad. So I'm not sure how to fix that.
You're just gonna have to do it, and then you're not gonna answer their questions anyway, right? So
you're
just gonna have to do it, and the lag is like super bad.
Guys, the lag here is super, super bad. What I was planning on, look, I'm frozen. Oh no, okay. What I was planning on doing today was answering people's questions. And my wife will try to help out in the chat as much as she can. But I got a lot of good, solid questions here that I want to get to. So I figure I'm just going to go ahead and get rolling and see if we can't make this thing happen. I apologize for the 24 minutes of just awful inconvenience that everybody had today. It was a nightmare. They did some new update, and it's not very friendly at all. And you have to go through a whole nother thing outside of YouTube to make it happen. So anyways, long story short, here I am. Here we go. I'm going to start with John Hutchinson. John Hutchinson asked me a question off of Facebook. And John's lost, or he has 70 pounds to lose. He's thinking about doing OMAD. He's planning on watching tonight. So if you're watching, John, what's up? I wanted to make sure to get his questions in here. He has a few of them. So he wanted to know when I first started, how many pounds per week was I losing? And that's a really really good question. I lost a lot of weight early on. I probably lost 8 to 10 pounds the first couple of weeks, but it slowed down. It didn't stay that way, but I definitely had huge results in the beginning. Also keep in mind that I didn't start with OMAD. I started with 16.8. So the weight did come off awfully quick in the beginning, but it did slow down after probably a month, I'd say. And then I went to about 2 pounds a week, and I was in that 2 pounds a week life for forever. And now I'm losing less than a pound a week, but I am still currently losing weight. His next question was when I started exercising. And I started exercising in November. So I started losing weight in April. So I didn't do any exercise really at all. I started increasing my steps, and now that led me to weightlifting and all kinds of other cool, exciting stuff that I got going on now. You mentioned that you had some problems, being able to walk. When I first started losing weight, I also was not able to walk. I was probably getting 1,000 steps a day. Today I got in 18,583 steps. So I think that'll come with time. And then he asked an important question, which I think all of you that are supporting the channel right now are going to love to want to know this answer too. He said, do you think you can do fasting and continue to drink Diet Coke? And that's a really controversial topic and a really good question. And the reason a lot of people say you can't do it is they say that there have been some studies that show your blood sugar goes up when you're drinking diet sodas. But in those same studies, it only went up in a certain percentage of the people. Some people it didn't. And shout out to one of the YouTube guys out here, Strengths. He ran a blood sugar test on his channel. I'll try to remember to link him down below. But he ran a sugar test, and it did not move his insulin at all. I'm not going to lie, guys. I drink Pepsi Max. I will have them sometimes in my fast, and I don't think it's a big deal. So I don't think that Diet Coke is the end of the world. I do think that you shouldn't probably drink 10 of them, but I think you're going to be okay. But if you're not losing weight and the scale's not moving, cut the Coke out, get back to water, because you might be that person in the study that is affected by blood sugar. So guys, the next one, he asked about hunger pains. I think hunger pains, it's an interesting topic. I briefly remember having hunger pains, but it wasn't for a very long time. My hunger got much, much better probably a month in, and I don't think I had any major difficulties after that. So another question he had was in maintenance. And so what do you think about going into 2 meals a day as opposed to 1 meal for maintenance? I think that's a really good question too. Personally, I don't, because I just feel great with 1 meal, but I absolutely 100% think it's fine to go to 2 meals in maintenance. You could even go back to 3 meals in maintenance. I would just keep them in that 8-hour block if you can, because I think there's so many great benefits to being in that 8-hour window. So my 2 cents is, yeah, if you feel like you need to go back to 2 meals, go back to 2 meals. It's no big deal. I think the Warrior Diet 20 and 4 is probably the diet that is best when it comes to fasting versus having some window time and wiggle room. But I feel great and amazing on OMAD, so I don't think I'll ever go back. So the next question I got was from Michelle Cruz. It was also a Facebook question. Michelle wanted to know which fasting method I used, if it was just OMAD or more. To answer that question, it's going to be a super simple, quick answer. Let me write down the time so I know when I do my little feed what time I got to each question. Around the 6-minute mark. So Michelle, she to answer your question, I used OMAD to lose the weight, but I did fast. It's something I don't know if I've ever talked about on this channel. I did fast every Monday once I got to OMAD for the first couple of months. And I now most of the time eat on Mondays, but there are times when I'm busy and I just don't eat 1 day a week. And so I don't think it's that big a deal. So I do sometimes skip an entire meal and right back to OMAD and have a 48-hour fast. I notice now that I'm weightlifting, not a good idea to skip the meal on a day I lift weights. I just don't feel good. So if I'm lifting weights, I'm definitely going to eat. And that's just kind of how I work that. So, the next question was from Facebook, and it's Brian Stafford. And Brian wanted to know, did I work my way down to 1 meal? Yes, I totally did, Brian. I started out, I was eating 16-8 in the beginning, and I moved myself back. And that for me personally, just happened naturally. I went 16-8 and I was fine. I was eating 10-6. And then all of a sudden I started to not feel hungry. So I thought I could make it to noon. I skipped out to noon. And once I got going to noon, it was just easy peasy to go ahead and say, well, I get off work at 2:30. So why not just wait till 2:30? So I did that. And then I started to think, why am I eating twice in 3 hours? Because what would happen is I would eat junk. I'd come home and I'd eat a bag of chips. I'd be like, why am I doing that? It just didn't make any sense to me. So then when I got my logic thinking on that, I said, you know what, I'm going to cut this down to 1 meal and I'm going to put my junk food to the end. And then everything changed and really, really, really helped me out there. The next question that I got is my last Facebook question that I'm going to do today. And it's from, and I'm going to butcher this name. I totally apologize, but it's Sita Ganesh, and she wanted to know if I used water only or if I did black tea or anything else that got me through my fasting time. And I think that that's another fantastic question, because I think this clean fasting movement, a lot of times it's similar to a lot of people are really cut with it, kind of like keto. People that are keto and clean fast 100% are very, very strict in what they do. Not that they're wrong. Both, I think things are great. But first of all, I think coffee is perfectly fine. And you're never going to find a group, I don't think, that's going to say anything bad about coffee. So, and tea as well. But I think that it's not going to destroy you to move away from water. There were periods of time that I just drank water. I did a gallon a day for part of this journey, and I was peeing every 5 seconds. It was a nightmare. I decided that isn't okay. Didn't want to do a gallon a day anymore. So I stopped doing a gallon a day. I started to drink 2 liters a day, and I did that for the longest time. And I just got told by my wife I'm being too loud, so let me turn it down a little bit. But I started to do 2 liters a day, and then eventually, I added some diet drinks in there, and now I am drinking a couple of diet drinks. And I'm sort of closer to maintenance. I think water is really good, but I think that each person individually has an amount of water that's good. A gallon. If you can drink a gallon a day, that's fine. But I was literally peeing every 15 minutes, and it just made my life uncomfortable to do that. So I didn't really want to make that happen. So I moved away from that. So the next one I got, let me get down the time here. 10:50 is from Reddit, and I posted on Reddit a forum, and the Reddit people really came through, man. They asked me tons of questions. I appreciate all my new Reddit people. A lot of them just added me as users. You guys are amazing. This is the clone of Nathan 5, and the clone of Nathan 5 wanted to know what kind of calorie deficit was I in when I lost this weight. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I would imagine 500-ish calories is where I would be. I think I generally my TDEE, it says 3,000 calories, and I don't think I eat more than 2,000, maybe 2,200. But I also don't think I burn 3,000. That's what it says, but I feel personally like I've never burnt that much. So I think that on your calorie deficit, if you start 500 under your TED and the weight starts to come off of you, then you know you're cooking. If it doesn't come off of you, then your TED is lower than it says you are, and you should adjust it from there. But I think the longer your fasting window, the less your calorie intake is going to really matter. But that's just my personal 2 cents. He also wanted to know if it affected my metabolism. I don't think it did at all. I think absolutely not. I don't believe my metabolism was affected in any way. I think if anything, my metabolism is doing better. So he has to also for return to normal. I think it's better than it was when I was obese. And part of that's because I'm moving and lifting weights more, but I just think that's a natural thing. So BryanLV from Reddit, he wanted to know, do I train while fasted? How do I deal with that? Am I having difficulties doing that? He told me a lot about his story, and he said he has some problems with it. And so what I would say is I did not start lifting weights until 5 weeks ago. And 5 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks now, I got in there, did my measurements, and I started lifting. And I do it the last thing that I do before I eat. So I get out of school, I go straight in and lift weights. And actually, I do walk after that, and then I go home and eat. And I don't think it's affected me. I think that there is something that I would say is I'm lifting not for muscle gain. I'm not trying to be the dieselest guy out here. So I'm lifting light weights and doing a lot of reps. And I think that it hasn't made me feel dizzy, but I also know that I'm not new to it. I've been fasted for so long that it doesn't really matter. I was out today, for example, walking and playing a little Pokemon game that I play. I did 18,000 fasted steps today and was out for almost 9 hours walking with an overweight gentleman. And he was saying at the end of the day, wow, he made it through the day without eating. And so I was telling him about my channel, and it was exciting. He actually subscribed. I hope he's watching right now. Shout out to you if you're out there, Volt. But anyways, in that process, I think that I felt fine, and he was kind of, I don't feel so great, but he's not used to it. So I think over time, when you get used to it, you do better and you feel better. And it definitely is something that I think that if you're lifting weights now and you're intermittent fasting, maybe it's best to back off for a bit and then get into the weight room, go from there. But I think that that's kind of a give and take there. I hope that answered your question. So hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I feel like I'm going a million miles a minute. My first live, I'm excited. I'm excited to answer these questions for you guys. So May Button 03 from Reddit. She congratulated me. I appreciate it, May. And said that, they own a business doing physical fitness, and they were curious to the mental side of things. What were some mental obstacles that I had? How did I tackle them? And what is my why? That's just a great question, because number one, I think that their mental hurdle in the beginning, it changes. But I felt like after I watched that podcast and I learned what intermittent fasting was, and for those of you that don't know, it was a Joe Rogan podcast with Dr. Rhonda Patrick. And once I watched that podcast and thought, wait a minute, I might be able to do this. This could be something that I do. And it was easy. And the first mental challenge was probably going to Las Vegas and a week into this and saying I'm only going to eat in this period of time and really stick to it. I also have a buddy that lives in Las Vegas, Tony Szymanski. Love you, Tony. Hope you're doing well. But out in Vegas with him, he wanted to go out in the middle of the night and he wanted to show me the town. And so he's drinking beer and eating wings. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take a Diet Coke and or water, and I'm not going to eat. And so that was weird. The social game has always been the hardest. Telling people that, how did you lose weight? Oh, well, I'm fasting. You're starving yourself? No, I'm not starving myself. Yeah, you are. And it's funny. I told somebody the other day, anybody that thinks I'm starving myself, sit down with me at dinner and tell me I'm starving myself. I ate 4 slices of pizza today. 4 slices of pizza today. Big old sausage with extra cheese. I ate it all down, and I still ate a couple scoops of ice cream with my in-laws. So I'm not starving. So anybody that thinks I'm starving is wrong. So that social part of it was and still is challenging. But I think that's the only mental part that I deal with that's a struggle for me. The rest of this stuff is just become part of my life. So I'm a little hesitant sometimes to talk about it. But my why, for anybody that's popped into this channel and has seen my beautiful family, that's my why. You're going through your life, and I know there's a couple other people out there. Mika comes to mind if she's still watching. She shows her family on there once in a while. And it's just clear that that's her motivation too. I think anybody that has a family, you just want to get healthy for them. You just want to, I don't want to get emotional, but you just want to, make sure you're around. If they put me in a box, I can't help them. And, that's just a very, very hard thing to think about and to deal with. And so that's my why. Beautiful wife and 2 wonderful children. You couldn't ask for more. And, but I will say this for all you people out there that are thinking about going on this journey, you got to do it for you first. If you fix you, you can fix them. So I think that's a big step, in all of that stuff. So I see you guys are asking some questions over on the side. My wife will try to help you out on some of those. But I'm going to continue to answer the questions of the people that wrote me first. That's how I kind of want to do these lives. I want to get the people engaging outside of YouTube on my social media to ask me these questions. So the next one from Reddit was Starkey Midget. And Starkey Midget wanted to know, let me write down the time for Mr. Starkey. So he wanted to ask me tips for beginners. And then also, working on, they said that they were losing some weight and that their tummy's getting a little flatter and the double chin's going away. That's awesome. My tips for beginners, people that are just starting out, is take it slow. Everybody that asks me, that's the number one thing I'm going to say every time. Don't start off and jump in there and think you're going OMAD tomorrow if you've never done OMAD. I see this one too. I see people say, they start to watch fasting. They're blown away by the fasting research. And they say, I'm going on a 48-hour fast, or I'm going on a week fast, or I'm going on a month fast. And it just doesn't work. Real quick, by the way, my strengths and weaknesses. I just saw his name pop over on the side. He was, I believe, the one that tested his blood sugar. If you guys haven't checked out his video with Diet Coke, it's pretty good. So check that out for the Diet Coke question earlier today. You know, whether it does or doesn't, he had a video where he actually tested his. It's pretty amazing. But ultimately, I think you got to start it slow. If you do 12-hour fast, don't eat after dinner, stop eating at like 7 o'clock at night, don't eat till 7 in the morning. I think that's a great starting point. And then once you have established that and gotten comfortable moving into 16 and then maybe to 18 and then maybe 20. And if you can do 20 with no sweat and you're not even hungry, then it's time to hop into OMAD. And then it's time to move him. So, you know, I think that that is very, very, very important. And, you know, you can kind of take it from there, but start slow. I definitely see a lot of keto comments in the over on the side too. Yeah, guys, I never did keto. I love keto. Got nothing against keto. Keto people are awesome. Blood sugar is the key to losing weight. I think OMAD helps with that, but all intermittent fasting does. So those are topics for another day. If you do got a question about blood sugar or my thoughts on keto or whatever, leave it on my Instagram. Hit me up on Facebook, and the next time I got your back. I promise I'll answer the questions. Do my best too. So the next one comes from Allie G. And Allie G wants to know, she's also a Reddit user. She wants to know, she said she's doing 16-8 and she's doing 2 meals a day. And wants to know what my daily take is on my food in terms of fruit and carbs, etc. And that kind of leans into the keto thing, guys. I don't restrict anything for myself. Anybody that's watched a few of the videos back in the day know that vegetables and myself are not friends. So I try to drink my vegetables and try to add them in there with fruits and blend them or do something like that. I've got nothing against carbs. You know, I think that each person is got to find their own journey in that way. I think if I could stand vegetables more, I would probably do keto. I probably wouldn't always do it. I would probably keto cycle. You know, maybe doing 3 days of keto on, 3 days off, or a week on, week off. You know, I don't really know keto cycling. I know somebody in my comments probably is familiar with keto cycling and being able to do that, but I don't think it's a sustainable for the rest of my life because my favorite foods have carbs in them. So I wasn't really interested in getting into the keto thing, but I do think it works, and I think people that do it are amazingly tough and awesome people. So, you know, with the daily fruits and again, you know, if you're worried about not getting in your proper nutrition and your OMAD or something of that nature, I just say get your vitamins going, and I think that'll make up a lot of the difference. So I think that'll help. And just an FYI, while I write down the time of the next question, I am so thankful that we got this stream going after all that technical difficulties, man. It made me go through a whole nother channel. It was insane. Had to chat with a guy. Oh, man, that was some stressful stuff, my friends. So the next question I got for you guys today is Salty and Lit is the name of the person. And they say they know the science of if. The results when you are feeding in your non-feeding window. Have you ever tried OMAD? Of course, you guys know I do OMAD. Mental clarity. Do I track my macros? Do I always stick to my window? Have I ever done extended fastest? So there's a couple of questions within his one big question. Let me start. Obviously, OMAD is something I'm a big advocate of. I do OMAD. I love OMAD. I think OMAD is the greatest. Does it affect my mental clarity? Absolutely. I forgot my work keys this year. One time last year, I forgot my work keys. I can't even tell you how many times. To be honest with you, I must have forgot them a dozen times. Little things like that may seem like it's not important, but I feel sharper. I feel better. I have a lot more energy. And I think a lot of people complain sometimes when doing intermittent fasting that their energy is too high to sleep at night. But I think that's a benefit. Less sleep has been a huge part for me. Do I track my macros and my nutrients while I'm doing if? And the answer to that right now is no. I kind of know when I've overdone it and underdone it. You know, I kind of know 1,200 calories is 4 pieces of pizza, roughly. You know, those kind of things you just kind of get over time. But I don't necessarily track anything that I'm doing right now. I do think that it's smart to track it. One of the concerns of my wife, which now she does 21 and 3. She's kind of a little bit closer off that warrior diet, and she's definitely a little more concerned about that kind of stuff. She definitely eats a whole lot cleaner than I do, but I think it's a part of my journey that I'm going to have to grow into a little, is the fact that I need to start paying a little bit more attention to making sure I get all the nutrients I need. But so far with the doctors, the blood works and the blood pressures and the different things have been outstanding. So I definitely can't I can't fault any of that good stuff. Um, and then sticking to my window, I eat once a day. Saturday I ate at 11 with my in-laws. We went out to eat, and I didn't eat again Monday until 6. I just shifted my OMAD meal, and that's why I'm an advocate of the flexibility of OMAD. Tomorrow, let's say one of you guys wanted to come hang out with me and get something to eat, but you had to do it at breakfast. I'd go out with you at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'd eat, and I wouldn't eat till the next day at 6, and I just wouldn't sweat it. I think that's why OMAD is just amazing. Now, again, I mentioned earlier, lifting weights. If I'm going to eat breakfast with you, I'm not going to be lifting weights that night. I just don't feel when I can't eat within an hour to 2 hours of lifting, I feel terrible. I just feel god awful. So I don't think that that's a good method to do it. But other than that, I will shift my windows. And then extended water fasts. That question, I don't even know if I've ever addressed on this show, but 72 hours is the longest I have gone. I know people on here like me could crush me, with 7 days and all. They're just amazing. I know there's one guy, the Fasting Fat Man, I think is his name, and he's on like, I don't even know what, day 20 something. I can't even wrap my head around that. But I do think that extended fasts do help. I plan on doing an extended fast maybe 4 times a year, quarterly. And that's just to catch that autophagy. Anything after 72, the autophagy benefits lower. So 72 hours, I think, is that golden spot. My plan is to do it 4 times a year. I've done it twice over the last year. So going forward in the future, I will be hitting those up. But I think extended water fasts are okay. I don't think the one thing I will tell you guys right now, I don't think fasting for 30 days without a plan coming out of it is a good idea. You should know what you're going to eat when you come out. You should know how you're going to refeed and how not to gain the majority of that weight back. Because the second, if you just go start eating whatever you want, you're going to gain half your weight back. And over 30 days, if you lost 30 pounds, you're going to gain 15 of it back instantly. And I think that is just not an intelligent way of piecing it all together. So I think if you do plan on doing an extended fast, check with your doctor, then make sure when you're going on that extended fast, you have a plan to not put that weight back on. And for me, 72 hours is the way to go. Let's see, the Fasting Fat Man is around 120 days fasting. Think about that, 120 days, man. I hope he watches this. Shout out to you, big dog. You are the man. I can't even do it, man. 120 days. Wow. That's good stuff. Can't do it though. I'll tell you that right now. 28 minutes in for the next question. Thank you guys for them and hanging around. 20 of you guys, it's amazing, man. And thank you guys for going through all that stuff in the beginning. It's such a nightmare. I'll get it going next time. So the next question is from Reddit, and it's Brandon and Luna, I believe, from Reddit. And the question is also, how many calories and do I exercise? And I kind of hit that up a little bit earlier. I eat probably 2,000 a day. I don't watch it exactly. I'd say between 18 and 2,000. And I do exercise. I walk an average of 15,000 steps a day. Today I did 18. I lift weights 3 times a week. I don't do any more than that. I am thinking about going to 6 times a week, trying to get my swole on. But right now, that's pretty much all I do. So that is that. And then so pretty much sorry to make that short, but I think I got that question. So now 29:30. Silas Moore wanted to know, he said he does a 20 and 4, the Warrior Diet. And he wanted to know how he can discover what his calorie deficit should be. And my answer is, I've told you guys before, if you check out that total daily energy expenditure calculator online, you can just Google that and it'll come right up. It will tell you what your maintenance is, and then you can lower that by 500. Never lower it more than 1,000. But if you're in that situation and you do it and you're losing a bunch of weight, you can adjust those numbers and play with it. If you sit down, if you want to count your calories and you're eating and you say, I'm going to be at 1,800, and you're doing 1,800 and you're losing weight, keep doing 1,800. If you do an 1,800 and the scale's not moving, then maybe you do need to adjust it. I don't know, calories in versus calories out versus is fasting the answer. I think it all plays a role. How much of a role, I don't know. But I know that if you're going to go OMAD, it's very hard to overeat. And that's just the way it's going on. Hey, Lloyd, what's happening, man? Thanks for joining us. So I got one more, I believe, unless I'm missing questions. I'll go back through, but I got one more that I got to get done here, and then I'll answer a couple of your questions. So right now, if you do have one, go ahead and throw it in the comments because I'll hang around for a little bit longer, and I'll make sure to answer you guys' questions. But I got one more to go, and that's Mr. Michael Rodriguez, 2020. And Michael wants to know, and this question's from Instagram. Stylist was from Instagram too, so shout out for Stylist for hitting me up on Instagram. You guys can find me on Instagram. Please reach out to me on Instagram. Reach out to me on Facebook. Reach out to me on Twitter. I didn't get a single Twitter question. I only got like 20 sad Twitter followers. It's sad. I don't know what I'm doing on Twitter. I'm trying to figure it out. But anyways, Michael wanted to know, can you lose weight and gain muscle at the same time? And that question is the most controversial question probably of the day. And the question that some people are going to get heated about and other people aren't, and whatever else. And so the bottom line is if you're obese, yes. If you're fit, maybe not. And that's the best way that I can put it. I know recently I was going to do a video for you guys on exactly the numbers, but I have lost weight in the last 6 weeks and gained muscle, and that's a fact. And some people will say that's newbie gains. It's not newbie gains. It was hard work gains. And so I think that is fact, because I'm still a little bit overweight. But I think as you start to lower yourself down, I think it's going to be a problem. And I don't know that it'll always be that way. But I guess that's where it all lies. So I see James said it's all insulin and hormones. Well, James, I think you're right on that real quick. I think a lot of it is insulin and hormones, but I think if you're eating 10,000 calories a day, you're going to gain weight. Doesn't matter if you're only eating once a day or not. So it's not all, but I think it's an awful lot to do with insulin and hormones. And I think I'm living proof of that because I didn't really study too much on that. So let me see here. Are there any questions you guys got? Eventually fasting once. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in that 1,800 to 2,000 calorie range and you're a male, you're going to be good to go. I think that especially with intermittent fasting, you'll be good. You'll be good to go. So, does anyone keep their blood sugar levels low? I think whenever you're fasting, Nancy, your blood sugar levels are going to be low. And I think that's the key to losing weight. When your blood sugar levels are high, you're obviously in fat storage mode. When you're in fat storage mode, your body's just not going to hop over. And that's why when you're eating these little teeny meals throughout the day and snacking, even though your calorie, I might eat 2,500 calories in a sitting and you're eating 1,100, but you're spreading it out and I'm eating it in one take. So my body is allowed to hop into that fat burning mode and really get it going, and then therefore pop back the other way and lose weight where yours blood sugars stay high. So I think it's there. I know early in this journey, I was definitely doing check-in to see if I was in ketosis while I was fasting. And I pretty much could get into ketosis every single day before I ate my one meal, which is kind of neat. It didn't start that way. I had to fast for 72 hours the first time. First time I ever went hardcore in to get into ketosis, it took 72 hours. So that shows you how addicted to sugar and how bad our blood sugar levels are and how close to being diabetic I was when I first started. It took 72 hours to get my blood sugar on a calm level. Now my blood sugar just shoots right down, and I'm okay. So it's pretty easy now to keep up and to make happen. But it's all a journey, and it's all a learning process. I don't think anybody has the perfect answers, but Nancy, right above your strengths and my strengths and weaknesses, probably say yes, keto is necessary. For me, it wasn't. I lost 120 pounds, and I never did a day of keto in my life. If I had to choose a diet tomorrow, I would probably go with carnivore, to be honest, because I'm a protein person. But I think keto is wonderful. So if you want to do keto, do it. And if you feel like you like keto, but you don't want to always do keto, look at keto cycling. Everybody, it's a great point. Definitely a great point. Okay, it says 2 meals a day, around 1,400 calories, 12 weeks. Now I'm having more calories. It's good, mostly eating meals with salads and eggs. Yeah, I mean, look, salads, man, if you can do salads, salads are just a beautiful, lovely thing. I definitely think it would be. Yeah, Nancy, you can have some carbs. I don't think it's the end of the world. Definitely take it a week or two at a time. If you can get your window, what is your window, Nancy? What time frame are you eating it right now? And then we can talk about kind of trying to figure out a plan there. But I think you definitely can eat carbs, and anybody that says you can't isn't really telling you the truth, because I did it. And but at the same time, I think so you just eating one time at 5 p.m., have all the carbs you want. I mean, it's not really going to affect you too bad. You can do, I'm telling you, if you like keto though, if you do like it, try to eat it 4 times a week and then throw 3 days of carbs in there. Just make them in a row so you stay in ketosis as long as you can. And that's the main thing. If you think about it, glycogen stays in your system for 8 to 12 hours. So if glycogen is in your system from 8 to 12 hours after you eat, and you finish eating by 6 o'clock at night, so you're out of glycogen by 6 in the morning. From 6 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night, 11 hours of the day, your body is running on your fat, and there is no more glycogen. And how is that not going to burn body fat? It's going to. So if you're doing OMAD, OMAD is the most forgiving, flexible diet in the world. OMAD, it's the way to go. I'm telling you so. Nancy, if you're doing OMAD, you're good to go. Yeah, Debbie, I did. I've done probably 3, 4 72-hour fasts. I talked about that earlier, and I think I'm going to do 72-hour fasts 4 times a year. Probably at some point sit down to think about it. I think quarterly 72-hour fast is a great idea because the benefits of autophagy, and I think everybody needs that. I mean, we all can fight all the bad cells and bad things that are going on in our body. Give our bodies a break. 4 times a year, I think, is plenty to do that. And the only thing that I would suggest again is make sure when you're coming out of that 72-hour fast, you have a plan. And make that done. No, I did do one, Michelle. Or a couple of them, Michelle. I fasted through the whole state wrestling tournament, which was well more than 72. So I do think it's a good idea. And I do 48s all the time, where I skip Monday, like I said. So I will eat on Sunday night at 6. I will skip Monday altogether and not eat at all. And then I'll eat Tuesday night at 6, which is a 48-hour fast. I was doing this 48-hour fast every single week for probably 6 months, maybe more. So I was really getting those going. I know the lag is a problem right now. I apologize for all of that. And when I did do 72-hour fast, I only drank water. And when I skipped meals back in those days of my weight loss, I definitely was only drinking water on the fasting days for sure. What do you eat coming out of an extended fast? Watermelon. That's what you start with. From there, you know, you can do bone broths and things like that, but you got to take your calories in liquid as close as you can. That's why watermelon's good. Bone broth's good. You want to be able to do things that allow your digestive system to start without overloading them. So when you're coming out of that 72-hour fast, try to get some bone broth, try to get some watermelon, take it slow and work your way into solid foods. But a lot of people think you should do 24 hours of liquids before you even get into solids coming off a big fast like that. Okay, what did my family, that's a good question, man. What did my family think? Hey, greetings from Mexico, man. That's awesome, man. Thanks for joining me, man. That is great. You added me on Facebook too. I remember you, man. Thank you. You know, my family, generally in the beginning, I didn't really talk about it. I told my wife, of course, and her initial response was I couldn't do it, like talking about herself, not me, because she would get dizzy. But and shout outs to her, she's lost 15 pounds without even trying doing intermittent fasting. But she was supportive. And then ironically, after a while, I talked to my in-laws about it, and they were like, "We're already fasters." And I was like, "What?" And I talked to them, and they're doing more of a 12 and 12 kind of thing, but they had read about it somewhere, and they had been practicing it for a while. And then my told my dad, and my dad and my uncle, and they both started doing it. They both saw the results from me, and they were like, "Hey, this is something I want to do." And then my mom started doing it. My mom reversed her fatty liver at 70. I think she's 73. She's about to turn 73. She's 72. And my dad is also 72. He's down to OMAD. If you can believe that, my pop's 72 years old, is doing OMAD, and he's down to 161 pounds. He started in the 180s. His blood work is amazing. My uncle's blood work's amazing. So I think in my family, it's been more beneficial. The people around me and closest to me have seen my results, and I think they are more apt to be able to follow in my footsteps. So that's how the family's working. Thanks, Debbie, for shouting out my wife there. She's amazing. She's over here trying her best to answer questions. 92-hour fast, Triple H, man, that is amazing. 92 hours is tough, man. At 72, I was ready to eat. I'm not gonna lie. At 72, I was ready to eat. You know, that's a good question. I have dry fasted. What I used to do is OMAD, when I was drinking a gallon of water a day, I would drink a gallon of water a day during my work week for 3 of the days, and I would dry fast for 2 of them and still have my OMAD meal and drink during my OMAD meal, but I would not drink, like starting maybe on Thursday when I woke up in the morning, I would not drink through Thursday. I would not drink through Friday. So I did add some dry fasts in there. The dry fasts were incredibly easy to do as long as I have an OMAD meal. I've never done an extended dry fast. I don't think it's for me, extended dry fast. I think it's, I don't know, just not the thing. But I do think that adding salt to your water, I hear does good things. I've never done it, but I think that if you think that something you should try, go ahead and do it. You know, I don't think it'll hurt you. Electrolytes are a good thing. I think I store water well. I think I carry water well, so I never really feel dehydrated. Yeah, my strengths and weaknesses. I know you talk about it all the time. You want to get your wife going. And I told you, man, if you keep leading by example, what can she do? You know, at some point, she's got to look at you and say, you know what, he's doing something right. And she's got to start believing in what you're doing. And maybe you can introduce her to some other YouTubers out there that are doing the same thing, and maybe she'll buy into it hearing other people talk about it. But I think by leading by example, you'll get her there, man. I do love Pepsi Max. It's my favorite drink. I'm trying my best not to drink them like crazy, but I am guilty. No doubt about that. But, you know, let's see here. That's good. It's working well for you, man. Lloyd, that's good stuff. Are you sure you answered this already? But it's important to know your daily intake. I'm overweight and struggling a bit to reaching my numbers. Yeah, look, I did answer, but I don't mind talking about it a little more. I think your calorie intake. I think the number one thing is insulin. I truly believe that. If you're doing OMAD, I don't think your content of calories matters as much. I think your stomach shrinks over time. I was talking to a guy today, And I said, I'm eating 4 pieces of pizza a night. He said, I'd probably eat the whole pizza. I said, when I started, I would have ate the whole pizza too. But I consciously knew that wasn't the right thing to do. So I tried to stop myself. But over time with OMAD, my stomach has shrunk so much that once I'm hitting about 2,000 calories, I can't really put any more in. And I think you'll get there. I don't think calorie counting is as important as when you eat. And if you fix when you eat, then you can start fixing your calories. You can start fixing the other stuff. I truly believe that. It's a different story if you're telling me you're trying to do OMAD, but you get incredibly hungry. Then we can talk about that. But work your way to OMAD. Try to start with, a 16-8 and move your way down from there. Yeah. Hey, Chubby Cop, I appreciate it. She is super supportive. She's in here just answering questions left and right. Amazing woman. And just in case you guys didn't know, she met me, I was 300 pounds. And she still was about hanging out with me, which says a lot about her character. And so, now that I've lost all that weight, now she knows I'm going to be around for a long time. So I definitely think it's helpful to have somebody that cares about you and that loves you no matter what, unconditionally. That's an amazing thing for sure. A lot of people definitely don't have that. So I appreciate her for sure. It is more about hormones, but you can't go crazy. You guys, you can't have 10,000 calories and expect that you're going to be okay. But yes, hormones have such a big, big, big part of it. I did marry well. I married up, man. That's what that's my biggest recommended on this stream. Marry up, guys. Marry up. Don't marry down. Marry up. That's it. Good advice right there. When you were overweight, if your calories and body. Yeah, Jason Fong's the man, no doubt about it. All those doctors are. Although I will warn you about this. Sometimes I watch Dr. Berg, and sometimes I watch Dr. Fong, and you do got to remember, and even they disagree. And I know Thomas Leckler or whatever his name is really big out there too, and they'll disagree. And if you really pay a lot of attention, sometimes they are trying to sell products. So you do got to be careful of that. You don't need a product to lose weight. You don't need a system. You don't need any of that stuff. So just be wary that maybe not everything they say is perfectly, right on the line, especially when they're like, click on this over here and buy my special, stuff to mix in with your smoothie because you need enough of this or you need enough of that. That starts to ring ding, 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 ding. They're selling a product. Maybe they're not being 100% honest. And I'm not saying they're not trying to help people, guys, because I know that they are. And I know they're doing an amazing job, but you do have to take it with a grain of salt and understand that they're pushing something on you. And you've got to test it on you. You're the experiment of one. And I think that's so important, to be able to get that down. But, yes, my strengths and weaknesses, very good point. You said, sometimes you eat more, sometimes you eat less. Same way. Sometimes it really, for me personally, I get out there and I'm like, I just lifted and I'm eating and I'm like, man, I probably should stop. And I just keep going for a minute. And then the next day I notice I didn't eat much at all. And I think that your body telling you, you just got a good workout. We need some protein. We need to rebuild these muscles. And you got to listen to that. You got to pay attention, especially when you're doing all those push-ups and stuff you've been doing, Look at Debbie hit my wife on a question about my personality. I love it. Hey, listen, Debbie, I am a zany guy. I'm just going to tell you now, you can see it in my children when you see my children. I am funny and weird and different, and I'm me. I've always been me. I've always had a little ego, even when I was fat. I just am what I am, and she's been dealing with it. She's been dealing with it forever, man. I think that's a good point about my wife. I have more energy maybe now, but at the end of the day, Cdub, man. I've been this dude since I was little, and it's not going to change. I'm definitely a zany guy. I try to keep my ego out of it most of the time, but sometimes it just shows up. But again, hey, I think that's a big part of my weight loss is the fact that I've always believed in myself. And even when I was heavier and I knew I needed to lose weight, I knew I would eventually get around to it. And that may sound bad, but it's the truth. Guys, if you're negative and you're down on yourself, it's going to come back. Let me just give you a little bit of advice there too, and you take it for what it's worth. For some reason, the light's blinking in this room, making me a little nervous about the stream cutting off. But guys, if you give positive out and you try to help people, then what in return happens is the universe gives you positive back. And it's not an absolute science. You might get hit hard here, you might get hit hard there. But if you take those hits on the chin, you keep giving back positive energy, I think you're going to get back positive things. And I think that makes all the difference in the world, you know. And that's the way it goes. And my strengths and weaknesses again, man. Weight loss equals ego drives my wife nuts. I don't know that you're 100% right on your ego, man. I think I think that you have to also understand that your wife, in a way, is scared that she's going to lose you, and she's scared that if you get skinny and you start looking buff, then in return, she's going to have competition. More women are going to chase you. And that's reinsure her. You tell her that she's worth it. Maybe some of that will back off a little bit, and you won't be driving her as nuts, But that's just my 2 cents. I'm not really 100% sure that's the case. Just throwing something out there. All right, guys. Well, hey, it's nice talking to you too, Debbie, man. I appreciate your support. I also wanted to go real quick while I have an audience, and while I've got a couple more minutes left in the stream, I wanted to mention the OMAD man. He just got diagnosed. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, go check it out. He's a great guy, zany. He's in a way like me with music and his zaniness. He's just so funny and always creating some weird song and just a totally different kind of guy. And the great thing about his old episodes, you can go back and watch them. You don't have to feel like you need to watch the newest one. He posted one every day until he found out he had cancer, and he's going through a leukemia treatment, I believe. And I just wanted to shout him out. Great dude. Really needs your support, and wanted to make sure I got him out. The support of everybody that comes around. You guys are amazing. It really is unbelievable that I just started this in January. I think that I hope to continue to grow, and I want to continue to make this a channel that you guys come back to. I want to do these questions and answers definitely. I don't know what day of the week. My wife and I were talking about that. You guys, once this gets posted to YouTube, can leave me some comments about what day of the week works best for you. But I want to get in here and answer questions. I want to be a part of the community and have reactions with you guys and be able to get it going. Yeah, Lord, Steve is great, man. I miss him, and I hope that he gets better. And it just is what it is. It's sad that Steve's going through that, man. But we got his back. I know the OMAD Outlaws got his back, and Randy H, the truck drivers, got his back. I mean, there's such a great community of people, guys. Mika, I know she was with us earlier tonight. I don't think she's here now, but just so many people. I can't even begin to name them all. Reggie edited, as you guys know. I love her. We're growing closer. Nurse Eric, he and I are talking all the time. Matter of fact, Nurse Eric, if you guys haven't checked his channel out, go check it out. He's another OMADder. He's amazing. He's doing an interview with me. Nice enough to have me on his show. We're doing that. We set it up, but it didn't record, so we're doing it again soon. And I want to do a live with a couple of these different guys too, so you guys get a chance to see us both at the same time, have a conversation, and hang out with you guys. So I want to grow the community. I want you guys to feel like you have somebody that supports you. Don't feel like you can't reach out to me on Facebook, because you absolutely can. Don't feel like you can't reach out to me on Instagram, because you absolutely can. I'm here for you. I will get back to you as quick as I can. I can't always do it. Obviously, I got a family, but if you got a question, man, I'm going to help you, whether it's on one of these lives, or calling you, or if you just need, you're in that day when you feel like you need somebody positive to give you some encouragement, man, I got y'all's back. I know this isn't easy. I know that everybody is is on a journey that isn't always friendly, but I promise every one of you that's still in the middle of this journey that the other side of the mountain is amazing. That the other side of the mountain is 100% worth it. Real quick note, when I was walking today with the overweight guy and we were having our conversations and we were doing good stuff. Good night, Darlene. It was great having you in. Thank you so much. When I was talking to him, I was just telling him how sick I felt. I didn't know it. I want to make sure you guys understand that I didn't know I was sick when I was 310 pounds. I did not know I was sick, but I was sick. And I didn't feel it till I got on the other side of the mountain. And now that I'm on the other side, I'm like, wow, the air is fresher over here, man. And it's just something that is amazing. So, I appreciate absolutely every one of you. You guys are amazing. I guess it's been 55 minutes of nothing but goodness on my end. I hope you guys were entertained, and I hope you guys learned something, man. You guys are amazing, and I'm going to keep this up. Lloyd, you're welcome, buddy, man. I will do everything I can to keep helping you and keep helping other people on this journey, man. I'm going to pay it forward again because I know the universe is going to pay it back to me, and it's all going to work out. Yeah, hey, look, James, you just hit something, and I'm going to spend I wanted to do an hour tonight. I'm going to spend my last 4 minutes talking about this because I don't know if you realize I have a video down below if you want to check it out. But well, thank you, Vicky, for saying that, man. You're amazing. Thank you so much. But I have a video down below talking about it. But I tore my ACL wrestling, and I was 20 years old, and that is when I started to gain weight. I caught a staph infection in my knee, and I had a knee replacement by 34. Doctor said it was the worst knee he had ever worked on. 34 years old. I couldn't even walk. I right now I'm handicapped. I still have a handicap sticker. I'm considered handicapped by the state. I have struggled with knee pain my entire adult life. It has been an absolute nightmare. Now I have no pain. You can ask my wife if she's still on answering questions. I haven't seen her in a while. She might have went to bed. But guys, she'll be the first one to pop up here and tell you I iced my knee every single night, no matter what, all for the last few years. And now I don't need to ice it at all. No ice, zero. My knee feels fine, 18,000 steps with no pain. I was having hip issues. They're all gone. I was having back issues. They're all gone. At the end of last year, after my last surgery, the doctor had said to me, we're going to have to do another one this spring. When I went back in for that surgery, consultation, he looked at me and said, you're so amazing right now. I don't even want to do surgery anymore. You might have a little limp in your walk, he said, but if you stay as fit as you are, you'll never have to worry about surgery again. And it's just such an amazing thing. So the soreness, James, in your joints is going to go away, man. It's going to help. The fasting will help. And yes, I 100% agree, Debbie. Fasting is it's healed me in so many ways, guys. And one last thought on that is it's not just physical, it's mental. It heals you in ways you didn't even know mentally. And makes you a stronger person. My strength and weakness is 70 pounds. That's awesome, dude. I can't wait till you hit 100. You're killing. And I don't even know if 100 is your goal. I didn't mean to throw it out there like that, but I know you're moving your way towards it quick now. You'll get it done. You guys are awesome, man. I'm going to go ahead and publish this thing and get off. And I'm going to let you guys know that I got an amazing video coming up. Probably, what is tomorrow, Thursday? Probably Friday. I'm going to post an amazing video. I already recorded it. It's one of my favorites. It's me on a rant again. So you guys that like those rant videos where I'm going crazy-o, I got one for you coming up. And I'm going to keep producing content 4 or 5 times a week for you guys. I'm going to try to get on here and do lives weekly or maybe bi-monthly. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to make things going. And man, the love and support of all of you is amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's crazy. I had all that trouble starting this thing. I don't even know how to finish it. Starting this was just insane. So I'm going to do my best to figure out how to shut this bad boy off. And then from there, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace. If I can Hold my peace sign up. Peace.